Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Sean versus All here with my buddy, partner in crime, MJ Stables, bringing you guys season 1 of Zero to Hero. I think we could probably knock out some introductions real quick. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. G Money, Nocturnal Animals, Golden Glow. What's up, everyone? How are y'all doing?
Flex Rifle, thank you for the follow. Rip Blinky Bill, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Solid for Life says, what's up? We are just getting started, guys. So tonight is going to be episode 1. We're doing a 10-week, 10-episode series called Zero to Hero. Basically, we're going to take a horse that I bought a couple weeks ago, a horse that looked like it was kind of underperforming, that we both kind of saw some potential in, and we're going to try and analyze the data and try and come up with a racing strategy to improve things like ROI, win rate, first, second, third place finishes, stuff like that. So what's up, Solar in chat, guys? We're going to stream this every single Monday, same time here on MJ's channel, and then I'll upload it the following day to my YouTube page. But let's kind of give everyone a quick introduction if they don't know us already. My name is Sean. I stream over on my Twitch channel, Sean versus All. I stream on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 o'clock Central Time. We have a betting app called ZED Bets where we watch ZED Run races, and then we have an app where you could bet on the races and win prizes and stuff like that. So feel free to drop me a follow if you're not following already. And I'm going to turn it over to MJ.
Hey everyone, MJ Stables, welcome to the channel. New followers, thank you so much, appreciate you. I stream usually Mondays, sometimes Fridays, occasionally popping on Pony Plug, and then I have a show called Inside Zed every Sunday with my partner Golden Glow Master, where we interview some of the biggest, most exciting names in Zed. Learn about how they got into Zed, where they think the platform's going, and what their thoughts are in the current state of the ecosystem. Love talking about Zed from a standpoint of accessibility, and also try and put as much data behind Zed as possible to give you an edge, no matter how slight it may be.
Right. Absolutely. And I just want to say, I think we make a good team, because I know me personally, when I got into ZED Run, I kind of aped in, as they say, and I bought a bunch of horses without doing a lot of research. You should not do that. And so I'm really trying to figure my stable out. I'm trying to figure out how to look at this data. MJ is phenomenal at that. I mean, if you go to one of MJ's streams, he's crunching the numbers and really coming up with like legit data-backed strategies for his stable, where when I got into Zed, it was just like, I just want to race. I just want to have fun, stuff like that. I'm really trying to move over towards the direction of data-driven racing strategy. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the horse. This is the horse that we are working with for season 1. Season 2, we'll find another horse. We'll probably do some shopping or do some content around what we're looking for there. But I want to go ahead and bring up this horse. So this is the horse that we're going to be focused on for the entirety of season 1. We're going to be looking at this horse, Nomad. ERAT, E-R-A-T is the name. I want to show you guys. Let's move on to what to expect from Zero to Hero. So this is the horse that we're looking at. It's funny, the night that I saw this horse, and I will pull up for you guys my OpenSea transaction. I bought this horse 17 days ago. I'm going to highlight it here. I essentially bought it for 0.34. It is let's look at some of the numbers here. It is a Z6 exclusive Nakamoto colt. So I felt like for a low Z number knock, that was kind of a good deal. MJ, you could kind of speak to this. You were in Discord that night. We were kind of hanging out as we do, talking about Zed, looking at horses. And do you remember what it was like kind of that night when I brought that horse to general chat and said, hey, what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I got excited. I saw some potential in it. I thought it was definitely misraced. and I thought there could definitely be an opportunity at the very least to improve its ROI. It entered in a handful of what I saw was like bigger races that weren't necessarily, I thought, best fits for it. And so I really thought it would be something that we could do. I thought the price point really wasn't bad comparatively. Those of you that watch my stream know I focus on, like I said earlier, keeping Zed accessible. So looking at kind of more bargain or like discount horses. I don't have any super monster racers. That's also kind of intentional. I don't have a huge budget. I understand that most people don't. This horse, even for me, is a little more on the expensive side, but something that I thought we could really do something with, and I got kind of excited about. And it's a knock. I don't have any knocks, and I don't know, it got me a little extra excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it in Discord. We kind of talked about it over the next couple of days, like, hey, this could be a good project that we could do for people that are new to Zed, that are kind of in the same boat of shopping for a value horse, not having a ton of ETH to spend, but really trying to go and look and find something that has potential, and then show people, demonstrate to them, hey, with a certain, with data-driven racing decisions, you can improve outcomes. That's the goal. That's the stated goal of the show. It'll be 10 weeks long. Every single week, we'll kind of set a strategy moving forward, and then I'm going to race it throughout the week, and then we'll come look at the numbers next Monday. We'll compare. We'll kind of do a little bit of recap. We'll kind of watch maybe some of the races, maybe talk about some of the new Zed news, stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So now that we know this is the horse, one of the tools we're going to be using is MJ, it's your tool. So I want to kind of toss to you and have you kind of talk about this tool, what it does, and how we're going to use it.
Yeah, so my tool is called Zetalytics. It was born out of when I first started streaming. I ran a Google Data Studio where I was manually inputting all of my race data, everything from the weather to the name to the hour, the day of the week. And I got more and more people interested in kind of that, and they wanted it for themselves. So I wanted to create something that was accessible for the community. And then with my horses, a lot of them, especially ones by the moment, I did a lot of experimentation with, looking at things like downclassing. So it's definitely underperforming at this point. But you can really start to see, at least in a very, very short term, with two of my horses, the Red Dragon and Blue Wings, some performance kind of changes by applying kind of the strategy and the thoughts behind what Zetalytics is and what Zetalytics does. Taking a step back from just looking at this from a pure odds play and looking at things like speed and other performance metrics to try and drive and improve horse performance.
Right. Exactly. So this is the tool here. One of the things that this tool has that others don't have is it has this column here for standard deviation. I was hoping you could explain it to me like I'm five, like tell me why it's here, why it's important.
Sure. So basically the standard deviation is going to look at the speed from a kilometers per hour standpoint, not necessarily finish time. There are other tools out there that use finish time. I use kilometers per hour. I just like looking at the data that way. But basically it's just going to say, how far do you deviate from your median speed? So think of it as like your average speed. What does that range look like? Is it really, really small? So you'd have a low standard deviation, which would usually signify that you are running more consistently at your average or close to average speed. Or is it much larger to signify, hey, you're going to run a handful of races slower, you're going to run a handful of races faster. And then in theory, if you have a larger standard deviation with a very average speed, you're going to get some really big speed swings, which would signify potentially a U-shaped horse, because you're going to have a lot of slow finishes, which would usually result in a 9 through 12, and a lot of faster finishes resulting in a 1 through 3. Now, you don't necessarily always want to have a high standard deviation. Sometimes you can have a low standard deviation, but with a faster than average speed, and that can still be beneficial to you because you're more frequently going to perform faster. So Another thing too, we have this kind of queued up for our horse, but if you actually clear out all the filters, you can kind of see exactly what the standard deviation is for the current population based off of races. I think it's over 170,000 races currently. Right now, when you look at it with the horse filter on, it's only looking at that horse, but you can say, hey, for a distance of 1600, standard deviation is about 1. Okay, we're running at 1.14. That's a little better. So it can be used as a good benchmarking tool as well as like an individual horse analysis tool. And I can throw the link in here.
Right. Yeah. Saw someone ask for it, but yeah, I mean, so just so we're clear, this isn't anything someone has to pay for. This is available for the public, right?
Completely free. Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome, man. Awesome. Shout out to all the creators out there that are making tools. We use kind of all of them here. I think everyone does. Know Your Horses, Haku, all those sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to all you guys that are contributing to ZED RUN, to the community here, and providing tools for analysis like this. Each one kind of has their own flavor, stuff like that. So it is much appreciated. Okay, I think now what we can do is kind of dig into our season 1 horse, and let's kind of look at some of the past performance. So let's look at Nomad. I'm just going to call this horse Nomad for the remainder of the season. Also, quick note, guys, we will be doing the giveaway at the end of the stream, so make sure you guys stick around till the end. We will do the we will do the giveaway here live, and you will need to retweet something during the live stream. So, all right. Anyway, so taking a look at this horse, I have it pulled up here. We could take a quick glance over on Know Your Horses, and as you guys can see, I mean, it's in 61 races, negative 25% ROI. I really think we could do a lot better than that. MJ, tell me kind of, looking here at this dashboard, what really sticks out to you about how this horse was ran? And if you need me to switch over to any one of the other tools, let me know. But
yeah, let's go back to Know Your Horses first.
Cool.
And if we scroll down, so like when I was initially evaluating this, when you were considering buying it, I was looking through, and the first thing I did was I hit odds by distance. You can see that in my tool too, but just to get a rough idea, okay, we're pulling 10, sub 10, and a handful of distances, especially at paid as well. So that was appealing to me. But then scrolling down, I saw another opportunity, and I'm looking I'm looking at odds, but I'm looking also at entry fee. So I see, 0.0012, but then as you kind of scroll down, you'll start to see some more like 0.2s, and you'll even see some like 0.0065, 0043, 00022, 23, and those races, the horse did not perform very well. So I see that as like a huge swing and a miss from a ROI standpoint that's negatively impacting it. In reality, if this horse was raced more frequently and consistently at those lower distances or at the lower kind of price points, at least to start, especially when a horse is so young, I think that's very, very important to race it at those cheaper entry fees until you really understand it and dial it in. Then you can start really looking at cranking up the entry fees. I think that's an opportunity for us to improve the ROI in the horse dramatically.
Right. And again, I'm just now trying to really take some of these horses very seriously and do things kind of by the book, where when I started, I might have been like the previous owner of this horse, where it's, Friday night, hanging out with the guys, hey, let's run our horses, and hey, here's one, everybody jump in, stuff like that. So I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. This horse did not perform well in any of these higher paid entries.
Another thing I want to point out here is that the odds in some of those higher paid entries, especially that 0043 race, are 13.82 at 1600, and then 13.97 at 1600. And if you look at overall average odds at 1600, the horse is a 10.04. So in reality, I mean, those are, yes, it's only two, but like that to me is an even stronger signifier that this horse was raced in those races incorrectly. And again, creates just a stronger opportunity in improving the overall value of that horse. And to me, values represented in a few ways. It's ROI, it's average odds, it's win percent, and show percent.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I see that as another great opportunity for this horse.
Absolutely. And those are kind of what you just mentioned there. Those are the things that we're trying to improve over a 10-week period. We'll see exactly how we do. We're about to get into kind of setting our race strategy. But I just want to be clear and kind of look through at this data. I mean, there's only been 3 races at 1,200. There's only, and the odds average at 8.59. There's only been four races at 1,000, 9.88. So yeah, I mean the horse it has a lot of signs that it's a performer. But I really think you hit the nail on the head with those higher entry fee races, just kind of destroying the ROI on this horse. A horse that's getting 7 odds, 8 odds, 9 odds, it really shouldn't be minus 25% ROI. I mean, it's one thing if it's break even, but minus 25% ROI seems a little bit drastic, right? Like,
I agree.
That's kind of in my mind, that seems a lot worse than where it should be at. So now that we've kind of reviewed some of the data here and kind of spotted some of the opportunities for the first week that we kind of get this horse back on the track, let's come to kind of a consensus on how we want to run it, right? So I think
Absolutely.
the first thing is going to be the cheaper entries, 250 or nothing, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. So we could go ahead and establish that, right? We're going to do that. Go ahead.
Oh, I want to, if we go ahead and switch back to Zetalytics, and we can kind of dive into that a little deeper. While you do that, another kind of value prop for a horse like this that I thought of, and I think we even discussed that night. I might be wrong, but Solid for Life brings it up too. The lowest exclusive knock on OpenSea right now is 0.46. So the type of horse that you buy could potentially change or grow in value on its own, and that alone could be a plus for you. So that's also something to keep in mind as you kind of look at and evaluate horses and purchasing.
Right.
So kind of as far as race selection, Sean, was there anything else you wanted to add before I kind of go in this and how I use the tool for this?
Okay, no. Let's go ahead and go right into your racing selection strategy. Go ahead.
Sure. So kind of how I use my tool is I talked about this on stream the other night, but I start right to left. So the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the name of the horse, hit enter. Sean's got that queued up. Then I want to switch the race type to paid. You have options. You can do all, free, paid, and it'll kind of auto update there for you. But I like looking at paid specifically. And then the other thing to consider with this horse, because it's so new, it isn't as big of a deal, but consider the class. This horse is only raced in class 4 and class 5 and doesn't have a ton of races. So we're okay evaluating all classes, but if you have something that's a little more experienced of a racer, I definitely think applying the proper class to where it is makes a difference when evaluating. So kind of once you have that top layer all queued up, like I said earlier, I'd like to start right to left. So the first thing that you want to look at is the preferred distance calculation. And treat this as just it's a barometer. It's not set in stone. This is how it has to be. You want to look at the higher number, the better. And then the second thing you want to look for is a drop off. So if you notice here, as Sean kind of mouses over it, we have 4.97, 228, and 2.17. Then it drops to 0.035. So that to me is 4.97 and 228 is a drop off, but we still have some performance. Dropping off to 0.35 is a huge drop off. So I'm going to start by looking at, in this case, those first 3 distances. So now we go over to the left exactly. So I'm looking at 1,600, 2,000, and 1,800. So we see we have the most races. We can kind of see average position isn't bad. Average odds are pretty solid. Win rate isn't horrible, but we have, a decent, pretty almost even for even, first through third, fourth through eight at 1,600. So I think that's where we're going to start this horse. But with this horse being so new and so young, if you select, go ahead and click 1,600 again. If you look down at those other distances, I mean, 2,400, maybe not as much, but like 1,200. We have 3 paid races. It's getting average odds of 850. I see potential there, and that might be part of our longer term strategy. But with this horse being so young, we really want to focus on 1,600 at least in the short term. 16 to 18, I think for this first week, we just specifically look at 16. And we know there was some mismanagement as far as the dollar selection, the entry fee selection for that. So that's going to be skewing those earnings pretty negatively. But, you know, down the future, we also might want to keep in mind 1,200. Another thing that I see a lot of kind of newer racers talk about is, hey, I have my horse's preferred distance and I'm just going to keep pounding that distance. If you have a younger horse, preferred distance can change over time as you race it and as it develops. With one of my horses, I didn't hit its top speed until over race 100. So keep that in mind. This is a very fluid process. I love to say that ZED is gray. It's not black and white. It's constantly changing. They're going to be adding new features, new characteristics to your horses and to your horse's performance. So always keep evaluating, keep looking at the data. Solid for Life, I see Aston Stream. What is the significance of the 497? Like I said earlier, just treat it as higher is better. If you have a horse with a lot more races, that preferred distance number is going to be a lot higher. That doesn't necessarily mean it's significantly better. It's just the way the calculation is done. Treat it on its own as an island. Look for the higher number and then look for drop off. And that's where you'd really start to isolate your preferred distances. Ignore the number itself. 64.44 would mean that it's, you know, it could be good, but again, look at your own scores relatively compared to that. McLovin.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Good questions there. So now that we know what we want to do, at least for this first week, and again, we're going to come back a week from now and kind of reassess, look at the data. But moving forward from tonight's stream to next week's stream, I'm going to be targeting the $2.50, the low entry fee at 1,600. Now, where am I going to find that? How would you do it, MJ? You go to Know Your Horses, right?
Yeah. So I would pull up ZED Run Races as well as Know Your Horses.
Okay.
So I would, and you can start really in either one.
Right.
So yeah, go to Know Your Horses, click Races, click Open Races, plug in your preferred distance from the tool or the preferred distance you want to target, and then try and find your class.
Right. So for this horse, we're looking 1,600 class 5. And then I want to go ahead and do paid, right? We're only doing paid.
You do paid or free.
Okay. So you do have the option though when you're looking for a race.
100%. 100%. And just for the sake of kind of demo here, maybe open that up to class 4 as well, just to see if we can get something else in there, just for kind of demoing. Yeah, Go ahead and click on the Santa Anita Oaks.
Okay.
And ideally, we'd be racing this in class 5. But so why I like going to Know Your Horses for race selection is you can see here the competition, and you can see how they're performing at your distance and at your class, how they perform at the class, how they perform at that distance from an odds standpoint, as well as a win percent standpoint. My rule of thumb, this isn't based in any hard data, is that you would want to try and find a race if you have a horse that is, you know, around 10-ish odds. Try and find a race where your horse is no higher than 4th if you were to rank it on odds within all the horses that are in here. So this race only has 3 horses in it right now. They'll tend to load faster in ZED than they will on Know Your Horses. So if it's coming kind of close to crunch time, flip between ZED and here. So you'd say, okay, there are 3 here, but maybe there'd be 8 in ZED. So be careful, be wary of that. Constantly refresh this page. I do not think it automatically refreshes. Identify where those horses are. Where does your horse fit from an odds perspective within that? And if you're around 10-ish odds, if you can be around position 4, I would consider entering in that race. And there have been some races where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing right here, we've got a few sub 10 right there. So I'd maybe back off from this. If you notice the horse up there in gate 4, there isn't much data on it. I would maybe click into that horse. And sometimes it'll be on that separate tab. Maybe it just hasn't loaded in here. So you can kind of get an idea of where those odds lie. So it's like, okay, that horse doesn't seem to be too threatening, judging by what we're seeing here. But then another one popped in, and we see that has about 12 odds. And I think our odds were closer to 10. So I would consider, okay, maybe we're a little better than that horse. We have some potential there. And I've been using this strategy for a few weeks now, or a modified version of this, really dialing in a horse. The Red Dragon, I think, is a good example of this. It had a lot of second, third place finishes, as well as some 10, 11, 12s. And then Blue Wings, a little more over the place, but pulled in a win. Did pretty well earlier. And then I got a win from Wins by the Moment today. Identifying this using this exact same strategy. It was a great odds placement for my horse, and got lucky. Yes, it's a small sample size, but I really think it's on the right path.
Right. Okay. Awesome, man. Thank you for breaking that down. That's something I will use moving forward. The current state of Zed right now, they made a change with the race times to kind of help the longer race time. So I think the last that I heard was around 8 hours until the race actually runs from the time you enter it. Right. So I think in terms of volume, on this first week, give or take, if it stays at 8 or so hours, I could enter 3 races. 8 hours later, I'll enter 3 more. And then I'm going to just shoot for about 6 a day. That's going to be our ballpark, would be about 6 a day. And I'll run it every single day till the end of the week. Right. And so that way, although it's not the biggest sample size, we'll at least kind of have something to kind of look at. And if the race times get better, we could race it more data, more stuff to look at next week. Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And this will be, like I said earlier, this is going to be gray. We're constantly going to be adjusting it. This is a newer horse. It's going to be a very fluid process. Absolutely. Someone even mentioned in my Discord today that, this concept of a horse taking a while to heat up. So, I mean, I've heard that mentioned kind of on Twitter, on social, where you have horses that might be pulling, decent or even really good odds. They just can't get a win. You keep racing it. And it's almost like, for whatever reason, again, Zed is gray. It kind of finds its stride. And then eventually you start really, really kind of hitting those dubs, Yeah.
So
and I want to bring up an important kind of asterisk to this. UFO Nut brought it up in chat that this can be a little harder to do, especially in certain classes, the lower classes. And this is a perfect ideal case scenario, being able to evaluate races like this. But given the current state, some of these races fill up super fast, faster than Know Your Horses can update. So if that is the case, we just want to do kind of a quick audible on our race selection. Sean, if you want to go over to Zed.
Okay.
So go ahead and just pick any race. Perfect. So with this, I'm looking at just high level, just kind of just skimming over this. What are the genotypes, the Z numbers of the horse, Beater and Zabo, Nakamoto's, who am I racing against? And then I'm looking at the career numbers. So I see like 013, 012. Yep. And then Sean's got a WMD on the bottom. So I'd go ahead and click on WMD when I see this. And then I see it has a 13% win rate with a 90% place rate. Man, that's kind of gonna cause me to pump the brakes a little bit. But again, I'm looking for around 3 or 4 horses that maybe would push me out. that doesn't seem to be too much the case, but WMD looks like kind of a monster comparatively. But this is kind of a quick, not as detailed, not as in-depth, not as accurate way of just kind of spot checking some of those areas that fill up faster.
Right. And another thing I'll add to that, with the state of the game, with breeding happening, with a lot of horses hitting their birthday, is that I know lately I've seen a lot of races that look very similar to this. There might be one in there that just looks like an absolute monster, and then I see a whole lot of horses that still have yet to get their first win. So I think we could kind of expect that as players of Zed, with breeding, with the way that the current state of the game is that this to me, this doesn't seem like an outlier. This seems pretty normal. This is kind of what you're getting these days when you're looking to enter a race, and it does fill up extremely fast, especially those lower entry fee races. But I think that's about normal. This one, for example, I just clicked on another race. It's a $2 entry class 4 race, and you got 9 wins, 3 wins, 1 win, 0 and 1. So there's no real proven monsters in this field.
Yeah. One thing to kind of be wary though is if they are a younger horse and they have 9 wins, but maybe they only have 15 races, that could be something to be kind of a little scared of.
Absolutely. So maybe click on it here. So this is like you just said, 33% win rate.
Yeah.
27 races, 9 wins. So I mean, that's the early makings of a monster. So
yeah, absolutely.
Don't be fooled by the point is, don't be fooled by the low number of wins. Look at it relative to the total number of races, right?
100%.
Right. Awesome. Real quick, just wanted to show this, and I could drop a link in chat if you want to find some more information about the horse we're working with. One thing, MJ, that I noticed, this came from this is the grandchild of Golden Larea. I've never heard of this horse. I don't know if maybe you've heard of it, but
I haven't. No.
It's got like a 20% win rate. Seems like a really solid horse. Average odds at 1,400 meters, 7.98. So, don't know much about this horse. We're surely gonna learn a lot. But if anyone is interested in looking at it, ZED Run Tools has the lineage here for you guys. And one more time, I want to drop, or maybe MJ, you could drop that link. I'm getting timed out in the Twitch chat.
Hey, I've got to look at that. I will definitely throw that in right now.
All right, I'm gonna. Cool. Yeah, no problem. Drop that. Here's what I will do. Let me get the giveaway ready for everyone,
Absolutely.
And then we could kind of open it up to a Q&A
Sure.
here for the end. So let me get this giveaway, guys. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm basically going to send out a tweet right now. My Twitter is Sean versus all. If somebody could drop that in the chat, or MJ, if you want to drop that
Absolutely.
Twitter.
I gotcha.
Perfect. So basically, I'm going to go to my Twitter here. I'm going to write a new tweet, and I'm going to just do like a horse emoji so no one knows what it is except for you guys. So I'm going to tweet a horse emoji. Everyone go retweet that. It's right here. It's this tweet. Go retweet it. We're going to give you guys like 5 minutes to retweet it, and then I'm going to use a retweet picker right here, and we'll give away the horse. I'll show you guys the horse that I'm giving away. But that is the contest there. Let me go over to my stable. I want to show you guys the horse we are giving away. Not that one. Whoops. I'm keeping that one. I'm giving away this one right here. So this is a Z18 exclusive goldenrod Buterin colt. This is the one that we're going to be giving away. I haven't named it yet. So unnamed, unraced. Parents, not anything really special, but I mean, a horse is a horse. So it'd be awesome if it went to someone who is new. If it goes to someone that already has horses in the stable, perfectly fine. Enjoy it, race it, breed with it, do whatever you got to do with that. So I think we could go ahead and open up to maybe some Q&A from the Twitch chat here. And like I said, you guys got about 5 minutes to go retweet that one. But yeah, want to open the floor up to any sort of questions that you guys might have about the Zero to Hero series, about Zed in general. Guys, feel free.
I see J-Man asks, how much consideration do you give to color and the type of horse it is? Mystic, Earth, etc. And the descriptions it gives that tells you what the characteristics of those type horses have. Learns quickly, likes to please their owner, stuff like that. I've looked at this extensively. I haven't done it probably within maybe the past 2-3 weeks. But there, from the research that I've done across all the races, and maybe I'll reevaluate this on stream sometime soon, but there is absolutely no difference in color, and it means absolutely nothing, at least at this point. That could change in the future. But from everything that I see, it is just purely lore, just storytelling around the horses, and makes absolutely no difference.
Right. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. I mean, I have my own personal bias on colors that I like or colors that I don't, but it's interesting that they built in that kind of that lore into ZED Run, although it seems to be inactive and not have any effect. So, I mean, my personal wish is that at some point super coats mean something. At some point, their rare coats mean something, whether they add something visually where if it's a rare coat, you see a sort of sparkle on the horse, or they have an aura or something. Even if it's just visual and cosmetic, I think that would be pretty neat. But to answer your question, for me to answer your question, I mean, I just, I have personal preference on colors that I like when I'm going for a breed. But, I don't give too much thought into it. Reading some of these guys' questions. Buster says, what's your guys' favorite color? I like Sir Aqua. That's probably my favorite code. It's kind of similar to my brand colors for the Sean versus All channel and stream. What about you, MJ?
I like Gainsborough. I like any of the Neptune colors. I'm a little biased towards those.
Right. Yeah, and then I like the Midnight Black as well. I think it looks really clean on a lot of these tracks.
Absolutely. I love the moon colors. Absolutely.
Right. I'm going to read another question here from Humans and Zombies. What is your consideration on breed price when looking at a first horse? When you say a breed price when looking at a first horse, do you mean that you have a filly and you're looking to breed with a stallion? I'm not sure I understand that question all the way. Or do you mean overall price when looking at a first horse? Let us know. Let us know. We can move on to another question here. What does MJ think about the price gap between Z1 and Z2? That's a good question.
I actually just looked that up. It looks like floor for Z1 is about 14 and floor for Z2 is about 6.8 right now. I think it's silly. I don't necessarily see that huge of a difference because you got Z10s, Z20s that are performing well. That high of a premium for the difference, they're both Nakamoto's of just one on the genotype, I don't think is worth that price. That's just for me personally, not financial advice. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it perhaps would make sense to someone who's really into collecting, and that the Z1 versus Z2 might be very important to them for whatever reason. I'm not a collector. I certainly don't have that much ETH to spend. So, yeah, I think for both of us, it seems kind of silly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out before moving on to the next question to Young Guns. Thank you for the tip. Appreciate it. It means a lot.
Awesome. Question from by the C88. Predictions for win rate ROI by week 10 for Nomad. That's a good question. Looking at the state of the horse at this very moment, I would like to see after 10 weeks, I would like to see north of, I would say 12.5%, somewhere 12 to 13%. I think that would do loads for the ROI. I don't know exactly what that will do to the ROI. Again, we're going to be adjusting the strategy as we move along, but I think at the minimum, I want to see an over 10% winner. On the high end goal, a 15% winner would obviously be terrific. Don't know if we could get there, but we will certainly try. Yeah,
I'd say minimum of 10 for me. I'd be happy with, especially factoring in just like extra time to really get the horse dialed in.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, race wait times, all these things kind of play into the factor
Right.
of how much work we could actually do with it.
I don't think 12 is unrealistic.
Right. Cool. Cinder Rose Stables in the building.
What
Make sure you guys are subbed to Cinder Rose Stables on YouTube. Trying to get through these questions. I can't help but think my blue horse is better than boring. Top odds and odds and win rate disagree, right? Yeah, I know. Something about like the horse that I do have, that's Sir Aqua, which is it's very similar to this Caribbean Green. I don't know why. I just love that horse. Are you keeping track of bloodlines in your research of horses? MJ, do you typically go back and spend a lot of time on looking at the parents?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to keep things in stable, and then I went for what I thought was a good performer at a good price. With them, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying I have the answers, but with the proposed changes in breeding and with those prices going up, I'm kind of leaning towards I just want to try and get some high-level blood into my stable now. I have mostly Buterins. So then when the time comes, then I can really focus on my own internal stable later on. But in the meantime, while the prices are low, I want to try and breed high, if that makes sense.
Right. That makes perfect sense. I mean, there are going to be changes coming. I don't think they've said anything is set in stone at the moment. But again, we will be back next Monday right here on MJ Stables Twitch page for episode number 2. And if they do any sort of changes to breeding pricing or any big updates to the game, we'll certainly kind of address that, I guess, at the beginning of the streaming of the show. I think we're going to probably have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions here. Sully has asked, if you had to start again with 1 ETH, what would you spend it on? MJ, what would you spend 1 ETH on if you were brand new to Zed?
I don't know. I change my answer every day. I think about this every day. It would just be Genesis. Just Genesis right now. If I could get a male and female, I would do that. Right now, I'm just going to say flip the coin. I'd focus male. Right.
Yeah, if you can get male, female, that's probably the best answer. That's probably the best answer here. Any other questions you see in the chat you want to, guys, just as a reminder, I'm going to upload this to my YouTube page tomorrow. So if we didn't get to your question, or if you have additional questions, go back and watch it. Feel free to just leave a comment, and me or MJ will come in there and comment. But yeah, anything else you see, MJ?
I see Solid for Life S. What info does MJ Informatics, Zetalytics provide that we don't get from Know Your Horses, HawkU, etc.? So the 2 big differences are the preferred distance calculation and then the distribution of where your horse is finishing. Can make a big difference, because in the case of, I believe someone else asked, like, I have a horse that consistently has 10 odds across the board, kind of one of these more generalist style horses. And by that, I mean, they have pretty much flat-ish odds going across. It can help, in my opinion. That's valuable to determine, like, okay, I finished 1st through 3rd, a lot more than I do 4 through 8 at this distance, and really kind of help dial in your preferred distance that I'm not really seeing in the other tools. The other tools are fantastic. Please continue to use them. I have nothing against any of them, but I think that's kind of a differentiator of my tool versus the other ones.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you kind of, standard deviation, the placement, that stuff, it just kind of brings the new flavor, and you can never have enough data, right? So, use all the tools that you can, when it comes to when analyzing your horses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a very clear win rate breakdown by distance as well as winnings by distance.
Right. Yep, exactly. Alrighty, guys. I think it is time to give away a horse. Let me go back to my tweet. Here it is. I'm going to copy the URL. 64 retweets, guys. Last call. All right, let me put this in here. And I am going to click this button. Best of luck.
Oh, good luck, everyone. 64 people. Nice.
Confirm the options. All right. I think I just clicked this button, right? I've not used this before, so let's just click this button and see if it gives us a winner. Okay, so that shuffled it. Winners 1.
Here we go. I think that hit start at the bottom.
Yep. Okay, great. All right, guys, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Best of luck, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We are back next week with episode 2.
3, 2, 1.
Bobby 284865999.
Congratulations.
You are the winner. Are you in the Twitch chat? Bobby, if you are here, go ahead and make yourself known. That is your Twitter name, Bobby284. By the C88 says, "Hey, that's me, guys. Congrats, man."
Nice.
Let's throw some emotes in the chat. Well
Way
done.
to go.
You got a new horse, my friend. New horse. And guys, stick around. You never know. There might be another giveaway on another episode. You just never know. By the C, real quick, let me ask you, is this your first horse, Bobby? Is that your first horse? If it's your first horse, that's like the best possible thing. Best possible outcome, right?
First horse.
Let's go, man. Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you again all so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. No, it's not your first one. Okay, no worries.
That's right.
No worries.
That's all right.
That's fine too. That's fine too. You know, it doesn't matter. This is an open competition. We will certainly do other giveaways. So just let's drop our links inside. Make sure they're following us on the Twitter and on Twitch.
Yeah, I got you here, Sean, for still having issues. And also just want to say once again, thank you everyone for the follows. Thank you for the tips. Greatly appreciated. There's Sean's Twitter. Here's mine. You can also find Sean on YouTube, where these videos will be up.
Yep, this is it. You guys can just search Sean versus All inside of YouTube. It'll come up. Or you could go to YouTube/Sean versus All. But I will be uploading them here. I will get that up tomorrow, so you guys can go back and watch it. And yeah, thank you all guys so much for being here. It was a pleasure. Send me a DM. Bobby will get that horse over to you here tonight. And other than that, we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
See you guys.